Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We are on episode number 62. My name is Craig Perales, and the man I miss more than midnight snacks, Mandrew Montemayor.
I need to lay off the midnight snacks.
Dude, I'm telling you,
before I get fat.
They're creeping up on me. I went downstairs the other day, I forget what time it was, and I was like, ooh, because my grandma left a box of that pistachio ice cream.
Oh.
I made myself a bowl, and I hated myself the whole way through it.
Yeah, I was craving top ramen last night for some reason.
Ooh, what flavor?
Probably like pork.
Ooh, a pork man,
And
are we?
I had like a shit ton of pepper to it.
Nice. Yeah, I bet you're a huge pepper man, so.
Oh yeah, pepper on everything.
So guys, you know we like to drink many of brews around here, and this recommendation comes from Sheila T. And on her original post, she said, "Grab a Guinness, any kind will do." And when I think Guinness, I think the heavy stouts, the darker ones. I've had a blonde before, but Andrew came across the Baltimore Blonde. This is a citrusy tasting beer, it says, and it's 5% alcohol.
It's actually really good.
It actually is fantastic. I was actually disappointed because I was like, no, I like my Guinnesses dark and darker the berry, sweeter the juice, and we get this, and I gotta say, like, no qualms.
Yeah, no, I actually really like it. And surprising too is that like Walmart, and all they had were the other ones that are like extra stout and this and that. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I want that, but this one looked interesting.
Yeah, it's a nice crispy beer, and it's showing that it's coming to Baltimore, Maryland. So I'm not sure. Do you think Connor, a man from Ireland, would like that we're drinking a Guinness that's not like the original Dublin style?
He's probably turning in his grave.
Oh, poor Connor. Where have thee been?
Dude, behind like everybody else, dude. Me too.
Catching up. So, guys, let's move into the main story, and that is going to be the big news is that Microsoft just purchased ZeniMax Media for a hefty $7.5 billion.
Pocket change.
That's pocket change to these guys, but it's huge news because if you guys aren't familiar with ZeniMax, they're one of the largest publishers that have independent studios under them. I'm going to read a quick thing from Engadget just to kind of catch you up on what it is and what is going on. So, in a year dominated by new console releases, Microsoft's announcement today may be the biggest gaming news of 2020. The Xbox maker has signed a deal to buy ZeniMax Media, one of the largest independent games publisher in operation. Its name may not ring a bell, but the studios it owns certainly will, since they are behind some of the biggest franchises in gaming history. That includes id Software, that makes Doom and Quake, Arcane Studios, which makes Dishonored and Prey, Tango Gameworks, that makes The Evil Within, and Bethesda Game Studios, that makes Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Now, this is one of the biggest acquisitions in probably history, and I got to look at it before we'll dive into it and Andrew gives his opinion on it. I look at it in it's good, and it's, I don't want to say bad, but it's kind of like, well, what happens next? Because the good thing is this is finally Xbox and Microsoft saying, you know what, fuck you guys. Like, we're finally going to show that we have big studios, because normally they've had all these kind of ground up studios, or they've been buying these kind of independent studios or studios that are known for a franchise or two. But this is one of the biggest names in the game, especially if you're talking Elder Scrolls and you're talking Fallout. It's going to be real curious to see where they go with this. On the kind of what happens next, when we'll dive into that, is does Xbox, you don't spend $7.5 billion on studios that do cross-platform games just to lock them behind one umbrella, like just to keep them under Microsoft Studio, because they want to make money back on that acquisition. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do, but the money behind this is definitely going, hey, we're beefing up the Game Pass, and Microsoft's heading in a way where now they've got their stable of now first-party studios just went from, I think, 15 to 23. So they just acquired 8 new studios with this acquisition, and super impressive. And now nobody can say that Microsoft doesn't have the mettle to start at least making new first-party IPs. You read it, you see the buy, you see what they grabbed. What was what are you thinking? Are we in the Twilight Zone?
I don't know. It's crazy. And I mean, the future is what's more interesting because, yeah, like you said, it's to make that money again. That's kind of pocket change for them, so they don't necessarily need to make that money.
Yeah, they're a $1.4 trillion company, and it's better to know this was a cash buy. So $7.5 billion in cash.
I think the bigger thing, too, is this came out of nowhere. It wasn't like this was rumored, no leaks, no nothing. It was you wake up on a Monday morning, Tuesday morning, whatever, and that was just the news. And that's what's absolutely crazy about it. And I guess it sucks to be a Sony fan at this time. I think it really kind of sucks when you're taking something that's multi-platform and gating it, if that is what they decide to do. They have said that things are going to be on a case-by-case basis. I'm sure, of course, they're going to have some exclusives out of this whole thing, too. But on the other hand, too, I think... I wonder if they would have done this had Sony not been going around and buying all these timed exclusives. Because after this deal was mentioned and announced, Imran Khan from Kind of Funny came out and said, Sony was talking to Bethesda into making Starfield another timed exclusive. So in a way, it's almost like they could have just brought this upon themselves with all these deals, like with Final Fantasy 16 and all these other things.
Yeah. They wanted the thunder, and now they got it.
For sure.
Because it's very curious, because Microsoft is probably the most nicest player in the game right now. They've kind of turned away from being Sony makes games on PlayStation exclusives, Xbox makes games on that. They kind of swayed away from that, and they're like, well, let's make the pass, and let's put it into as many hands as possible. So I don't see all of their games being... exclusives. I see a lot of them being timed exclusives or launching same day and date, because what happens is not only are they going to be Game Pass day ones for, Andrew and I and you guys watching, but they're going to be making back-end money on everything. If let's say Elder Scrolls 6 is on Sony, right? They put it out there. They're collecting a check from them, which now, because they have to buy it for $70, and anyone that's a Game Pass member gets it day one added to the pass. So I mean, Microsoft has a lot of outs here, but talk to me a little bit about what's going on with like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, because this is kind of the snag in the deal, which is why I believe the deal is set to be complete mid 2021, is because they still have deals with Sony still had deals with like Arcane and Bethesda to make these other games.
Yeah, and like with Ghostwire Tokyo too, they are saying that they are going to still honor those deals that are on the table now, which make those games, I don't know, they were complete exclusive. I mean, the way it's always been presented, I think has been a timed exclusive, or at least going to PC at some point. I don't ever think, I never even thought that any of those games like Deathloop, Ghostwire, any of that were a full Sony exclusive. I thought they were all just games, again, just bought for like a year or whatever, right. Something like that.
Yeah, because now Microsoft is in the business of managing Sony games. Like, this deal is Sony had timed exclusives on it, and Microsoft is now the owner of it. Because it's kind of like when Sony bought up Insomniac, and Sunset Overdrive was an exclusive on Xbox, but now that they own it, like the licensing rights and all that stuff gets kind of confusing. So we're in some very weird and unheard of water, because this has never happened before.
I think no matter what, I mean, Microsoft's in the win on this, because there's a few different options that they can do. They can either just keep it on their consoles alone, because people will buy a console unless it, of course, comes to PC. They can do PC later, or I mean, they make money off the PC anyways, but they could keep it on their console, because people would buy a console hands down for just the Elder Scrolls alone. That game is a phenomenon. Just like Fallout,
the needle.
There are a lot of people who would just get it for absolutely that. They could do that. They could make it day and date to where it is going to be on PlayStation and everything else at the same time. But again, like Craig said, you know what? If you don't have an Xbox, you're going to have to pay an extra $70 every time you buy all these games. The next Doom, the next Fallout, the next Elder Scrolls. Whereas if you have an Xbox, it's free on the Game Pass for you day one. So that's also something they could do where you're in the win no matter what. Or the third thing they could do is they could be like, hey, it's going to be on our thing, whether it's Game Pass or whether you have to pay for it or not. It'll be on Sony in 6 months. It'll be on Sony in a year. Do you want to wait a year to be a part of the Elder Scrolls conversation? Arguably, again, that game is, I think, single-handedly out of this deal, the biggest one. That game is the juggernaut out of this deal. I think Fallout's, almost up there with it, but Elder Scrolls by far is the biggest thing out of this deal.
Yeah, because you got to remember, Microsoft's coming off of a swing and a miss. They tried to do the bid for TikTok, which they failed to get, and then they were eyeballing the WB Montreal stuff, which fell through because they actually wanted to keep it, and they wanted to keep developing it after seeing like Gotham Knights.
With this by far is a way better purchase.
This alone is huge, and you might not think about it, but I was looking it up. So everyone knows Disney, everyone knows Marvel, everyone knows Lucasfilm. When Disney bought Marvel, they did it for $4 billion. When Disney bought Lucasfilm, aka the Star Wars franchise, they did it for $4 billion. Microsoft spent almost the same amount on both of those combined, just on these studio acquisitions. So it's like they know what they're doing, and But again, though, you got to remember, like, Bethesda's not coming off of a great year. They're coming off of the back of Fallout 76. It didn't do great. They're running on the back end of not knowing when Elder Scrolls is actually coming out, because they said that Starfield's going to definitely come first. So they just acquire these big names, but it's really much on merit and name alone, because there hasn't really been much to go on to say, yeah, oh my god, that's awesome, because Elder Scrolls comes out next year. We might not see the next Elder Scrolls for 3 years or 4 years. So I'm curious what they're going to do. And okay, so if you're looking at these titles they have, Dishonored and Evil Within and all that stuff. If they weren't going to make them all timed exclusives, I think they need to keep something that is for the Xbox fans. Something needs to be a flagship Xbox game, because normally they do the online games is their way. Halo, Gears of War. They've never had a big single player experience that makes it an exclusive for the Xbox. I kind of want them to do that for Elder Scrolls, because that makes people go, because that's why they probably did the S for $299. Anyone that wants that thing, it's a $300 buy-in, because what's 4 games? $70 games. You pay 4 of those, that's the same price as getting an S. So you're going to pay 4 games every time one comes out, or just buy the S and get the pass.
I mean, they could even still, too, take one of these studios and be like, here, take something like Perfect Dark, Beyond Perfect Dark, take this and see what you can do with it, just take the ball and run. And even still, again, like you were saying, a lot of these deals, it is going to be a long-term wait down the road, we'll see, whatever. But in the meantime, it's still going to pay off, because they're going to get a percentage of whatever. And we're starting to see some of the fruits of that labor now, because coming, I think it's October 1st, is Doom Eternal is going to be on the Xbox Game Pass already. And that game came out a little bit earlier this year. I know a lot of people liked it. Some people like Doom 2016, I believe is the year it came out. Some people like that one better. Either way, it's something I've been wanting to play, and I kind of put off buying it. Now I'm glad that I didn't buy it, because now, boom, Game Pass.
But who saw this coming? No, it wasn't like...
I saw it coming, which is why I didn't want to buy it.
Let's just wait until they buy Bethesda, and then we'll jump on the back of that. But yeah, it's crazy, because if Microsoft, because they are the nicest player in the game, they could perfectly decide to go, hey, every Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, it's on every platform. We're going to keep it on the Switch. We're going to keep it on PlayStation. We're just going to take a fat cut. But the bonus is, if you're on the Xbox ecosystem, it's day one on the Game Pass. So I'm really curious of what they're going to do, but they got to keep something, I think, flagship. And I don't know if Elder Scrolls would necessarily be the right one, but maybe Starfield would be the exclusive to the Xbox Series X, or something along those lines. Maybe the next Fallout is exclusive.
I'm sure that they'll have something, but I also think they're too now kind of in a position to be that person that's like, okay, you know what, send an email to Sony, if you want this game, stop fucking doing all these weird 1-year exclusive whatever. We'll give you the whatever, because if someone wants to buy a PlayStation and pay the $70, doesn't matter. They get the fucking money anyways. It'll be free on the Game Pass, so either way, they still look good. It's still the better deal to have the Xbox and have... even if 5 of these games at $70 a pop, those are all free. If it's on Game Pass, is all free, versus paying it $70 each for
that's what I'm saying,
any Sony thing, and just be like, okay, stop doing these shitty 1-year deals. Otherwise, you're not going to get Elder Scrolls. You're not going to get Fallout. You're not going to get this.
Yeah, and we'll pull your customers. We'll pull your players to us. I mean, it's a win-win for Xbox.
Yeah,
regardless of what they do. If they make it exclusives, then cool. Then you have exclusive big games that are exclusive for the Xbox. If they don't and they want it to play on other platforms, then they're getting a cut of Sony games. That's what's crazy. It's like, hey, yeah, we'll put it on Sony, but we're gonna start getting paid on Sony bought games, because before they have Minecraft is a studio that they own, but Minecraft didn't go anywhere. Minecraft is still cross-platform.
Same with Minecraft Studio, or not studios, Dungeons. Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah, it was on everything. So Microsoft is in the business to just make money and put things on the pass, and the pass is just stacking up crazier and crazier.
Yeah, again, because it's not like I'm dying for any of these to be exclusive. I can see some of these games, but again, just make that money, and if I can get it for free on Game Pass, I'm sure that's more than enough for someone to, okay, I'll just get the $299S, and that gets my foot in the door.
Yeah,
I could
with a year probably free on it.
I already have a PC. I'm just going to sign up for the Game Pass Ultimate now, because all these crazy deals. I wonder if that has anything to do with our next story when we get to that too, regarding sales of the new console.
Well, I'm curious because, we're not curious, but this is just huge, like you were saying earlier. Sony needs to start playing nice. This is just leverage. Because what's the next thing that's going to happen? Sony's going to ask Square for another exclusive game, and what? Microsoft's just like, oh, I'll buy it. Hey, how about this? You keep asking for time exclusives, we're just going to buy the company, because they got big fuck you money.
And, even so, they could do the year thing and make people wait.
I think they should. That's what I think they should do for everything that they just bought. Should be a timed exclusive, but they still need at least 4 games, I would say, that are only on Xbox and PC.
I mean, people will wait. I've been waiting for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm not going to get to play that. I think the deal's up in March. And I think kind of what I'm like seeing a lot of out there too is a lot of people that oh, you know what? Well, when Microsoft does it, it's bad. It's not good for the industry. But when Sony does it, oh, well, it's only for a year. It's only for this. It's only for that. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, none of that shit helps anybody. So like, that's the thing is when it just seems like that's the thing now is people are trying to spin this in a negative way. And it's just like, it is what it is. And it's a negative if you don't have an Xbox, if you don't have a PC. If you were strictly Sony, then yeah, this is nothing but negative news.
Yeah, because one of the big things they were trying to say was like, there's a difference between Sony banking a deal with Square, third party, to get a game for a timed exclusive or an exclusive, paid for it, got it, goes on. Square down the line makes more games, goes everywhere. Microsoft bought 8 studios that are known to make games cross-platform, and that's where the big question's coming from. It's like, do they keep them locked behind Xbox? I don't think so. I think we agreed that it's going to be at least timed exclusives or shared and just take that cut. But I mean, it's pretty insane to see and that's the thing. There's quotes saying that Microsoft's not done. Like, they're just getting started. Like, they're looking to acquire more first-party studios, and I'm curious, what do you think would be next if they had to catch something?
I don't know. The rumor's Sega.
I kept hearing that too, but I don't know if I like that.
It would bolster their Japanese market, especially when you have games like Yakuza and stuff like that.
Because after this purchase, they're now one of the biggest Western RPG title holders in the business. Yeah, the only thing they're missing is like I don't think they even have one Japanese studio under their belt. So that's really all they're missing at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I know that they did put out a quote as well too, saying that just because they bought it doesn't mean that they're going to. A lot of people are like, oh, well, now they're going to do like what they did with Rare, run it into the ground or whatever. And they're like, no, it's going to be semi-independent. They still have to do whatever, and we're still going to kind of ask for some things for whatever. But pretty much they'll just keep running autonomously as they have been.
Yeah, they were saying Bethesda's still going to keep running naturally the way it is, and all it is now is the person they had like a long, healthy relationship with is now just the owner of them. And it just went from ZeniMax to Microsoft, and Bethesda is still going to be making games. Because that is another thing. Like, all those games are out in the wild already. So it doesn't matter what you do with Fallout 4 or, anything like that. They can't recall them. If you have it on PS4, you have it. What's happening is now what's going to come next. And we know what's coming next with at least
Skyrim Remastered.
With Bethesda and Elder Scrolls is a ways away. Starfield, I don't think is even going to be available next year.
I feel like that's going to be
I don't think there's anything ready for the next Fallout. So if you look at the 3 big games that they had, there's really nothing on the horizon. So it's really coming on to like Arcane and things like that to see what they're going to be doing to at least make this thing bear fruit. Because if nothing comes out in the next 2 or 3 years, then your purchase is mute until 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So I'm curious. So if you guys have any thoughts and questions, jump in on that, because this is huge, and I'm sure next week we're going to know a lot more about kind of where they're going with this.
I do want to say, hopefully, with this acquisition, they get rid of the stupid Bethesda ID shit. Like, when I buy your game, when I'm playing Doom, when I'm playing whatever, I don't want to have to sign up for that. Same with, like, Ubisoft. When they do, like, oh, you got to have your Ubisoft account. Get the hell out of here. I don't want it.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's the thing of the past. There's too many ideas.
Square Enix does that too. They have their own.
Well, he had to do it with the Marvel Avengers. He had to like log in with his Square
just
ID.
to play online. I'm like, dude, come the fuck on, man.
So overall, good thing, bad thing that Xbox is now in control of some of the biggest properties, IPs in the business.
Well, I'm getting an Xbox regardless, so it's good, doesn't affect me. Good for me, if anything, at the least, because now I don't have to pay for these games. It's already paying off for me because I didn't buy Doom Eternal. Now I don't have to buy Doom Eternal.
Yeah, because now it's going to be here in, a week, and we're going to play it. We're going to play it.
It'll go right on the backlog with everything else I don't have time to play.
So, guys, moving into more Xbox stuff. So, like Andrew just alluded to, pre-orders just happened. That launched on September 22nd. That went live for us here in Arizona at 8, but I believe on the East Coast it was at 11. Now, if you're watching a lot of these other videos about the debacle of pre-orders, everyone's talking shit. They're saying, it crashed all this. Well, it's like, no fucking duh.
What did you got a million people trying
What did you think was going to happen? Oh, well, it was just as bad as PS5. Well, yeah, when you have fucking hundreds of millions of people that want to jump on and pre-order something, and there's only 6 websites that'll fucking do it, like Walmart, Target, Amazon, Best Buy, Microsoft Studios, GameStop. There's only 6 places, then yeah, it's gonna crash. And you gave them a tee off. You're like, hey, 11 o'clock, start going on it. And yes, of course, things were going to crash. Now, it was the same thing I said from last time. X amount of people are going to get it. X amount of people aren't. And the people that aren't are going to be the ones that complained about saying that it didn't work out and this and that. So I'm not trying to defend, the pre-order in terms of if you didn't get it. But, like, people can't be mad that it was a frenzy. We just saw that on PS5, and they tried doing a sneak attack by not letting everyone know and let it just kind of go in the wild. Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
I mean, I hate the people that are, it's just as bad. It's like, no, I at least knew when I could try and order something.
Yeah.
And it really, honestly, kind of wasn't that. If I had to do, like, a weird thing. My other friend Cameron, I actually told him, like, he could not get an Xbox. He couldn't get it on any of the websites because a lot of them were being weird. And that's not Microsoft's fault, even though theirs kind of was down and at, like, a weird time. Because even Amazon messed up. But I told him, just from the simple look online, I was like, hey, download the Best Buy app and just hit add to cart a bunch of times. Eventually, it'll go to your cart and you can go through. He did it. He's like, yeah, it took me like 5 minutes to do.
Yeah. And
it's like, okay, that took me whatever, because I guess I'm in the know. But for your average Joe, I mean, how many other people were... Again, you have a billion fucking people trying to get online. Like, what do you kind of think is going to happen? Especially during COVID, I already knew there was going to be a shortage. I already had mine kind of secured from GameStop, but if you were that worried about getting one, go sit out in front of GameStop like some of us had to.
See, yeah, and that's what I ended up doing, but we have our other buddy Kyler. Like, what the bad part is that there was a shortage in terms of how many allotments stores got. So, like, when I went to GameStop, there was only 5 left that they could even give out. So the line of 20 people, the first 5, I was number 4, got it. Kyler was saying, they only had 8 and he was number 9. So stores had a short amount of what they could give out, and they were kind of saying that online a week before, which is like, then why are you promoting it in terms of like, hey guys, go line up? It's a bummer if you didn't get it. But I did mine, on the online side. I did mine on Walmart.com. It had a countdown. It let you know when it was going to go live. As soon as it went live, button popped up, hit it, went to my order, added my card, checked out. Like, I didn't have an issue, but
someone else also got him the inside scoop.
There is no scoop. I would go up at 5 in the morning. Oh, no, 4:30. Went inside out at 5. Hung out with the people. I'm a man of the people, and I just love it because there was only out of the 5, it was 3 Series X and 2 S's, and I was 4th. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be stuck with a Series S. But one of my buddies, Luis, he was in the line and he was gonna get an S, so I ended up trickling down that I ended up getting my Series X. But
I do want to bring up some things now. So
yeah, hey, point out some things on some stuff.
Again, we don't know how many are out there. There's no numbers. There's no nothing. Of course, you couldn't get any PlayStations. Depending on when you watch this, this is Thursday the 24th. On the 25th, GameStop is saying there will be more PS5 allotment, so you can try and get one then if you wanted a PS5. But Xbox, as it is sold out. You couldn't get it anywhere. Amazon, no websites, no nothing. But not just in America. It is actually the number 1 Amazon bestseller in 10 different countries. And it is even actually sold out in Japan, which historically has been Microsoft's weakest country. And again, I don't know what that number means, as far as I don't know if there was only 5 available in Japan. Of course, that's going to sell out or whatever. Yeah, but again, I don't think the ones sold out in Japan. I think the ones were readily available off that last generation. So again, this thing seems to be doing just from what I can see, seems to be doing extremely well, because you can't get it, just like you couldn't get the PlayStation. And I don't know if it's because of all the goodwill that they've done, everything Phil Spencer's been doing to try to make this brand better and bring it back. It's all consumer friendly now, or if this actually, and I think what has to be a big deal of it is that Bethesda purchase. A lot of people I looked at online forums, was like, okay, well, you know what, this changes my whole mind. I'm not going to get a PS5. I'm going to get an Xbox. I'll get a PS5 down the road, because at the very least, I can play these Bethesda games, whatever, because as what was said with all the PS4 games, or the PS5 games, a lot of those games are going to be available on PS4. Miles Morales, Horizon, Forbidden West, so I don't need to get a PS5 right now. But the Xbox, the Game Pass is forever.
I feel like you had all that like memorized in your head and you've been holding that back for a week. So again, if you were disappointed that you missed out on a pre-order, I would say it's not like the PS5. PS5 is probably going to roll around. You're going to see more later on down the line. I have a strong feeling that Series X's are going to be in stock when you go to your store on November 10th, day 1 purchase. I would just say, don't take it lightly and don't show up at 12. Like, when I was in line waiting at 5 to get, the 5 that were in line, people were showing up like last minute to get it.
I've been out here for 45 minutes.
It's just one of those things. It's like, if you actually want it just don't take it lightly because they are going to sell. People do want these. These aren't, there's going to be more in the wild. Just don't be last minute with them because if you miss your point at that point, then it's on you.
This is not an Xbox One situation. Microsoft has considerably turned around their
production.
No, just their standing with their audience, especially coming off that Dawn Magic where, we have a console for you. It's called the 360 if you don't have an internet connection. Like, this is not the same Microsoft. So that whole point of view, everyone's opinion has turned. I mean, I know a lot of people still love Sony more, but hey, they're out here.
Like I was saying a couple episodes ago, this is where Microsoft finally, if not surpasses, is definitely going to be tying as number one because it's got the biggest bang for its buck. Anything else you want to add on that, or should we get into the mishap people were having with pre-orders?
No, we get into your little you got to read the fine print on it, but we'll get into the mishap.
Okay, so what was going on was people were apparently buying the wrong Xbox. They were buying the Xbox One X instead of the Xbox Series X, and this can happen in one of a couple ways. A, you don't know what the fuck you're reading when you hit purchase, but the actual cause is probably people were set up with bots. People probably had something set up to automatically put it into their queue and purchase it because that is one of the ways you can kind of just bypass doing it by yourself. It puts it into the queue and it buys it for you. Or three, I guess, the Xbox One X did have a good sell that day in terms of what it was doing against the Series X because it is still a system that's going to be worth its weight, at least for the next couple years. But people were like in outrage. They're like, oh, it was the wrong one. I'm like, well, did you not read what you were buying? Or are you one of these guys that are just programming it in to get it, and then now you're mad that your fucking program didn't work out? Because it had a 747% spike on Amazon, and I'm just like, did you not know what you were buying? Did you not program your bot right?
First of all, if you're a scalper, go fuck yourself. There's tons of scalpers out there right now. Like, you can find a Series S.
There were like 10 grand.
Series X on sale on eBay for like 10 grand. But there's a couple things to notice too. Like, even in the Amazon one that was selling and was recommended and was getting sold a lot, you gotta read it because it clearly said on there too that it was discontinued, as in not being served anymore. And the Xbox One X
being served anymore
has not been served. It actually got discontinued, I want to say, back in July. So that console hasn't been in stores. I haven't seen that console in stores in a while unless it's like a used one or something like that. So something else that I was reading on someone else's Twitter trend, unfortunately I don't have the guy's name here too, but it kind of put it in perspective, is this console has been discontinued for a while, that they haven't been selling it in stores. Stores haven't had a stock of it. It hasn't been restocked. So an increase in 700% from zero sales at all from a discontinued console
makes them look like it blew up.
Yeah, the numbers could be minuscule. You could buy 300, but from 0%, I guess it's 300%. I don't know, but even so selling 700 of those, which on the grand scheme of things isn't really a lot in sales. That's not going to bump the needle. That's not going to move the chart. So again, stuff happens. I think part of the problem was the Amazon website didn't go live at the time it was supposed to, and that One X I know was like a featured ad that was on there, but it clearly said in the print discontinued.
Yeah, I just don't get, because that's what some of these other rage videos are. Oh, so many people accidentally bought the Series X, and I will just say, or Series X or One X versus the Series X. It's just, this is why it's confused. Like, Xbox needs, or Microsoft needs to fucking stick with a name. Because I'm tired of saying One X, Series X, Xbox Series X, Xbox One S. Like, give me something that's fluid off the the tongue, because that's confusing. And I think if you're gonna make the argument that people didn't know what they were clicking, they just see Xbox X and that's what they think they were getting. Especially if it's like a mom or a dad buying it for somebody, they don't know. It all sounds the same. They need to get a uniform title going, because this is just X ridiculous. Ridiculous X.
That is part of the problem too. Is they should have definitely had some sort of different name that didn't involve like X or S or something like that, because they already had consoles. But I don't know in what world you're like, oh cool, Xbox's new most powerful console's coming out and I can get it for $299.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah, $299. Okay, cool. Hey, they're gonna love this one.
Yeah. So yeah, just a little bit of research would have gone a long way for whoever it was that was buying those. So if you got, you got, and I'm glad you got.
Hey, if you got X, then the X isn't got. So
X really gave it to him, huh?
The X gave it to you. So that is the end of that, guys. Let us know in the comments if you had any issues with your pre-order. Let us know if it was fluid with your pre-order. Let us know if you're looking for something in particular, because I gotta say, I had no problem with Walmart. I'm curious if anyone else had any. I know Cien was dealing with GameStop. I think Gino was on Walmart. So
I think Christian did Best Buy.
Did he do Best Buy? Oh, no, he had GameStop, and he was eyeballing a Best Buy because he was curious if his GameStop one was gonna be a flake.
Scratch that and reverse
it. So, before we get into Riffs, guys, we were going to jump into a side story with the Tokyo Game Show 2020. Unfortunately, everything we watch outside of like the trailers or like Phil Spencer's beginning comments, it's all Japanese related. Unless there's something we missed, there's really not much to talk about outside of the trailers. I think this will be something we recap next week or something like that.
Right. I mean, so far this has been some pretty cool stuff. There's like a new Nier. There's lots of other gameplay. I was telling Craig earlier, I can't remember the game that they showed at PlayStation. It's a Capcom game where we thought it was like Death Stranding, where the dude's in like a full metal
like Bioshock almost, like with the little sister.
Yeah, or almost like a Dead Space kind of looking outfit or whatever. But I want to say that was shown like during the Xbox briefing today. But again, it's all in Japanese, and I'm not native, so
I don't speak the native
tongue. Us natives, right-wise.
Born in this fine country. So we will probably recap that next week, or at least the highlights. I'm assuming if there's a big trailer that popped out, we'll discuss it. So.
Yeah, so definitely check it out, though, because I'm sure there's lots of news. I had this guy. I know that today was Microsoft's and Square Enix. Tomorrow, I don't know if there was anyone big.
Well, yeah, because it runs from the 23rd to the 27th. So it started yesterday and it'll end by this weekend.
Yeah, and I think Saturdays is Konami and Capcom's.
Yeah, they have their whole layout. So if I can find the link that actually shows the day spread, I'll put it in the description. So, nice, guys. So let's rip it up. Andrew, generally speaking, my man, you go first. So why don't you tee off?
Sure. My first rip actually is related to Mortal Kombat, as everyone knows that I love. Is that there was a leak on Reddit, and I'm not sure where these videos came from. Like, I don't think they said outright, like, hey, I ripped them from somewhere, or a leak from somewhere. I have no clue how they got this. But there's 2 different videos on there that you can watch, and it shows that they got in a... So, with Mortal Kombat 11, when they did the DLC, even in the main game, I butcher's name, and it's like Kerry Dorikawa or whatever, the dude who plays Shang Tsung in the original Mortal Kombat movie. They got him back for the game, but it looks like they contacted other actors as well, because they even have Chris Lambert, who played Raiden, and I don't know the other two's name for Sonya or Johnny Cage, but they got into contact with them as well, and they had them do voiceovers which match whatever's in the game currently. So you can click on the link and it'll be like Johnny Cage saying something like, I'll beat you up or something, and then you have the other guy saying the exact same thing. So they recorded, even with Sonya's, they have Ronda Rousey's, and then they have the other girl, I forget her name, and they have all their voices already on there. So I thought that was kind of a pretty cool like little thing, and I didn't know if who knows if they're going to do anything with it, if they're going to update something like that. But either way, I had already loved what they'd done with Shang Tsung, that kind of would have gone a long way. And weirdly enough, I actually like the chick who does Sonya way better than Ronda Rousey. Christopher Lambert's, listening to it though, was rough. His voice sounded like hoarse, like he was smoking 40 cigarettes before he tried doing his lines. It sounded ripped
to me, yeah, because I looked at those links and I was checking them out, and I was like, what the fuck am I listening to? I was like, oh, I get it. It's the original actor and then the person they brought in for it. And yeah, his does sound like it's almost ripped from something. I'm Raiden, and something like that. But yeah, it's interesting that they... that probably can't cost too much to have someone come in and just do...
Well, for them, they're not doing anything these
kinds of lines of dialogue, so that was kind of interesting.
What was her last movie, Billy Madison?
Well, I was going to say, which Sonya is it? Because Sonya 1 and 2 are different. So
it's Sonya 1.
Okay, and that's what she's from, right?
Yeah.
Because I always thought she was from 2, but I guess not. No, yeah, she's 1.
Yeah, she's in Billy Madison.
So that wasn't interesting. How did you stumble across that? Did it just pop up on your Reddit feed, or?
I don't remember. I don't know if it was on Facebook.
Because you sent me that. I'm like, that never popped up on none of my own.
I don't remember what I was on, but I ended up seeing it. I might have been going through like the gaming on Reddit and seeing that or whatever. By the way, I just thought it was cool. I mean, it's good because again, I love that movie. I personally think it's a great movie. Fantastic. I think 1 still holds up. That it's cool that they would reach out to these people and give them the same option as Shang Tsung, but by far and the least that he's the most iconic. But I think it'd be pretty cool. Even better if they could get the license to you. I think his name's Robin Shao, the dude who played Liu Kang. Get his likeness for Liu Kang because I think he looks phenomenal as Liu Kang in the movie. So use him from that movie in the game now.
I would not be mad.
Even though I'm sure he probably looks the same and is still ripped just the same.
Oh yeah, he's probably bigger.
Yeah, fuck.
So my rip, guys, is speaking of Xbox. So the Game Pass has officially hit 15 million subscriptions, which is a big milestone, especially when I was looking it up compared to the PlayStation Now, which is their cloud gaming subscription. So from May 19th, 2020, the PS Now reported only having 2.2 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize. I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, was that like 5 years ago? That was earlier this year. PS Now only has 2.2. So if you're looking at, Microsoft at 15 million subs, I'm like, dude, they know. I didn't realize there was that big of a gap. I thought maybe it was going to be like 7.5 versus 15. I'm like,
almost
okay.
as big as the gap in their console sales.
Whoa! And it's huge. But the more impressive thing is, at least that I'm taking away, is the Game Pass started in June 1st, 2017. So about 3 years ago. In April 2020.
3 years to get to 15 million.
Yeah, April. Well, here's the crazy part. April 2020. So earlier this year, in April, they announced they just hit 10 million.
Oh shit!
And in less than 6 months, from April to September, they've gone a 50% increase to 15 million. So in less than 6 months, they've done 5, and in 3 years they did 10.
Well, they're gonna see a bigger spike now with this Bethesda deal. Like that's gonna.
Well, that's what I was kind of analyzing. I'm like, well, what have they actually done? What generated that? And all I can say is they've been putting on massively big titles, like when they were putting on GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, being just games on the Game Pass. They've added the PC, because originally the PC wasn't part of the Game Pass, so that's got to add to a lot of subscribers to this thing. They've perfected the Game Pass Ultimate in terms of starting out at $1 entry point, in terms of the price, in terms of getting xCloud Gaming, Xbox Live, everything for the price didn't increase, because they easily could have went to 20 or 25. It stayed at 15 and still incorporated everything. And then they just recently, which blew our minds, was like, oh, they partnered up with EA. So now EA games are all coming on to the Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
And then now recently they just bought Bethesda and and all said companies, and now all those are going on there. So I didn't realize 10 million, 15 million, you don't know where that stands. Once I saw that PS Now is only 2.2, then yeah, shit, they dwarf that number. And the fact that they were able to 50% increase in less than 6 months just shows that Microsoft knows what it's doing. And the $7.5 billion acquisitions, if it's going to make more subscribers, then, the writing's on the wall, and this is the way they're going. This is going to be their new platform. This is their new bread and butter, is the Game Pass Ultimate. Because Andrew, agree with me on this or don't. There's no reason any Xbox gamer at this point should not have the Game Pass.
At least the Ultimate, because you already got to pay for live online.
Yeah,
so
unless you play 1 game a year, 2 games a year, I can't imagine why you wouldn't.
Even still, even if you could be single player focused and be like, I don't like online, I don't want to pay for online, whatever. With the Game Pass, there's so many single player games that come to that too. That's how I played.
Especially now.
That's how I played Metro Exodus. Doom Eternal's coming. I don't know if Doom's got a multiplayer portion, but that game is primarily single player. Fallout was even on there.
Shadow of War is on there still. That's a good game.
There's a ton of single player games, and I think that's part of a good thing too for Game Pass. Is there's tons of fucking games on there that I never would have thought to try, and I download them all the time. I'm like, I never would have looked at this any other way, but it's free, whatever. Might as well give it a go, and then if it goes off and it's that good, I'll go through and I'll buy it just so that way I can have it.
Yeah,
or you get the discount with the Game Pass.
I'm literally playing Dark Crystal Tactics Game Pass game. Never would have bought it or played it without it. Playing the Stranger Things 3 Game Pass game. Never would have played it without it. And Nier Automata, a game I never would have bought.
I saw you started that.
I started playing it. Game Pass game, loving it. So I'm like, I got 3 games where I'm just on the Game Pass playing it. I'm like, dude, this is worth its weight to me. So, interesting facts. I thought that was mind-blowing because I didn't realize where 10 to 15 million stood in a world where Sony's at a barely scraping 2.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I wouldn't have imagined that was there.
I couldn't imagine what Nintendo's is.
Yeah.
So, what's your next riff?
My second and final riff is that the Xbox 1 terabyte the Xbox Series X 1 terabyte storage. It's like a little card from Seagate is up for pre-order at Best Buy and other retailers. Unfortunately, it is $220. And again, that's not them overselling the product, because if you look at a similar, I was looking it up online, if you look at something similar within the range of specs and everything that thing can do, it comes out to like $210, $220. So really, they're making a minuscule profit off of that. I don't know if I'll get that right away. I think I'll try to leg it out my 1 terabyte, and I think that's something I would definitely get down the road. If that was $150, I would probably have gotten that day one. I feel like that's the sweet spot for me, especially because they did say it is hot swappable, so you could easily just unplug it, take it over to your friend's house, plug that in, boom, now you can just start up, play whatever you want to.
Yeah, it kind of hurts it diminishes the concept of where when we were looking at game prices coming out and it being $4.99 for the Xbox and only $2.99 for the S. You're like, oh man, those are dirt cheap prices. But if you're adding a $200 external, if you're a hardcore gamer, if you're a gamer like we are, and you want to have more things than just the few, you need one. Like I have 2 external hard drives for my Xboxes in the game room. But it's like $200 a price tag. It's like that makes the $4.99 and now a $700 buy, which is what we were originally thinking, and that's essentially all they did. They said, "Oh, you want a terabyte or do you want 2 terabytes?" Because a 2 terabyte console is now $700 instead of the $4.99. So that kind of was like, oh, well, that hurts. But I look on the positive note. I look at it as going, I'm not gonna have as much shit on my Xbox anymore because I have a 5 terabyte external hard drive on my One X.
You download anything
I have everything on there, but now it's going to be like, okay, now I got to pick my battles.
Trim the fat.
And definitely get rid of things and make it. I was telling Andrew, everything's going to be, like, I'm not going to put something on there just to, I'll demo stuff and sample stuff, but like most games on there now are going to be worth their weight, and it's going to be, I see it to the end. It's no longer playing a game for 30 minutes and then, it's like if it's on there, you're going to play it, but $219 is a hefty tag, and I agree with you. I'll probably wait to get the first one, unless Black Friday, which is 2 weeks after the console releases, has a deal, which I'm hoping is around $150 to snag one. Because the thing is, PlayStation will do, believe second, third party external, where Microsoft is stuck behind one proprietor with the Seagate.
For the time being,
with just being Seagate. So I don't want to call it a monopoly by any means yet, but you have to. There's only one brand that makes the external for the system that I own. I don't like that I only have one option.
Now, not to conflate that between two things or confuse that with 2 things, is you can still use an external drive, like a regular whatever drive.
The USB.
Yeah, like a regular USB drive, but I don't know if the game runs. It
says unless it's optimized, it's just a storage bank.
Yeah, it's just a storage bank. So you would have to transfer the game, which that is a viable option. You could download whatever to that external drive and then move it over to the primary drive, so that way you get all the bells and whistles and everything like that.
And it's a faster move over, so it's just gonna do a little fandangling.
Either way, either you're hoping hopefully games will be smaller, because damn, dude, Call of Duty has like a new fucking update all the time, and again, when that full game is like 200 gigs, like it's fucking ridiculous for one game.
It's a quarter of your terabyte. So
for one game,
but arguably it's one of the best sellers of all time annually. So
dude, PUBG
you pop 2 on there.
Dude, PUBG is a battle royale, and it's like fucking 15 gigs.
I don't know what takes Call of Duty, especially because the campaign's so little. It's got to just be the online infrastructure that takes so much of that, but
it is.
It's just, damn. So my last one, guys, really quick, is there's a rumor, and I don't ever like to do rumors, which is why this isn't a story or anything. It's just a riff, because riffs, we like to gossip and just speculate on things, is that the next Pokemon game, or at least one in the making, is going to be a remake of Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
I would love that.
On the Switch. I would absolutely love it, because I know Gold's your favorite Pokemon, because that's the one where you can redo the gyms. You do Johto, and then you do Kanto, or Kanto. And the only reason they're speculating this is because Nintendo just renewed its trademarks for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And I saw 2 reports saying September 17th or on September 7th, which is, I guess, irrelevant. But it could just be that they were renewing them, or it could be due to the success of what Sword and Shield is doing, that they want to bring something, and all the remakes that Nintendo's doing, they want to bring a nice Pokemon game into that, because Pokemon's doing good. They're doing great with the DLC, with Sword and Shield, and we still have on the horizon Pokemon Snap. So I would love Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yeah, no, that would definitely get me in, because again, that's for people who maybe haven't been into Pokemon for a while, like myself, that I don't really care too much for some of the new ones.
Not jump in Sword and Shield, but you would jump into Heart Gold.
Yeah, I would jump into Heart Gold or Soul Silver, because that's what I had when I was like a kid. And I beat that game like a million times. I even had like a ROM like not too many years ago, like on my phone, of like Gold. I went through and redid it because I genuinely love like Gold, because that's what I know, and I didn't want to progress further.
Right, yeah, because that did originally come back on the Game Boy Color. Excuse me, and then they did a remake of it on, or at least a remastered on the Nintendo DS. So I'm curious of how they would kind of move it over to the Switch. But I mean, now that it went from dual screen, so they'd have to either, tweak it a little bit to just make it on the singular. But this, I mean,
hopefully it's just I would hope for if they're gonna do it, they would do like a remake like
Ground
what
up,
they did
yeah.
with Sword and Shield.
yeah, I would love to see the new models and stuff. So that is the end of Riffs, unless you got anything else.
Nope, nothing.
So let's get into video game questions of the week. And we've got 4 questions. First question comes from John Tovitz, and he says from last week, it's a hit or miss beer for people. Yeah, try it in an ice cold pint glass with lunch. And that was the last one we had that you really liked, and I
forgot what it was.
And I could care. I know it came in the orange can. It was like a
it was the haze or something.
yeah,
like
the hazel.
That. Okay, yeah.
Something. Question: would you rather have an Iron Man suit, no nanotech, and I'm assuming no nanotech means the white Tony Stark suit that's ridiculously stupid, or a Batman Beyond suit?
Iron Man's and
Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
I was originally thinking I liked the Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond suit with the invisibility, kind of the stealth, but the Iron Man suit,
you're strong. You can fly out of that thing.
Well, because Terry McGinnis still puts it on like it's like pajamas, like it's still a thing. The Iron Man suit is not only like if I'm thinking like Iron Man, you can just pull it from anywhere and it starts building up on you. You've got your face, your identity's intact. No one can pull off your cowl.
Even like the original one, you're stronger. You're bulletproof. Batman's not bulletproof.
I think the McGinnis suit can take a couple bullets.
I don't think so.
I think I might be able to take one.
He dodges a lot.
Well, and the other thing is
he can't even take a punch. That's the thing. Like the Joker's like putting him up in Batman Beyond. Like you punch Iron Man in the stomach,
ain't nothing happening. And the other thing is, Old Man Wayne is his Jarvis in that. And it's just a guy talking to you. If you have my link to the World Wide Web,
Iron Man suit hands down, no matter what version.
Although
I'll even take the desert weird fucking Gigantor.
Although I think if we were to put it like in a death battle, I think a McGinnis, Batman Beyond might beat an Iron Man.
He just shoots him one time with like a BB and
he would dodge it, you said, and go invisible. Next question comes from Auburnstein, and he says, if you could remaster a game, what would it be? I feel like we've had a question similar to this, and I think my original answer was Legend of Legaia on PlayStation, but if I had to choose a different one, so if we're moving on, it might be a little cheap because I think it's on its way. I'm almost positive it is. But I want the Mass Effect trilogy remastered from the ground up. Like, if we're getting Mario games, all 3 of those built, redone, and remastered, then I think Mass Effect would be the next trilogy all-in-one bundle I could get.
I already got my Dream Remake remaster with Link's Awakening. But if I had to choose something else, especially in today's climate that I think would do really well, I would actually say Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Would be a lot of fun.
Oh,
especially with Xbox Live and all kinds of online play and everything right now. That's a game I'm surprised hasn't been like ported or nothing. Like there's no version of it anywhere.
That'd be a cool
unless
VR
you have a
game.
SNES. Yeah, that'd be a cool VR. That'd be it'd be a cool game in any capacity.
Yeah.
Add 4 players and add more enemies or whatever.
That'd be
something
awesome. Thank you for the question, and leave your answer down below. Sheila T, so the one that recommended the beer, says, hey guys, you should drink a Guinness. Any style is fine. Question. Another comic book. Would you rather be a part of the Justice League with teleportation or the Avengers with super strength? I'm assuming the power. Teleportation is my second favorite ability outside of telekinesis. So I would assume I would pick the Justice League.
If I have to be a part of this group, which means I'm fighting bad guys, I would take the strength. Because you're going to end up like what's-his-face in Wolverine where he grabs his fucking spine and...
you don't know his name?
I never had one. It'll come to me.
Isn't his name Maverick?
No, I don't think it's
Maverick. It ain't Maverick?
No. Will.i.am in...
Yeah, he's not, his name's not Maverick in that?
Wolverine or Wolverine Origins, whatever. No, I don't think so.
All right. But I'm thinking more Nightcrawler. I'm thinking more Jumper. Because think of this, if you're living in this world...
Well, yeah, but they said you have to be a part of the Justice League, so you have to stop villains.
But here's what no one ever thinks about. Every time Batman goes to fight a new villain, they got this new tech, or in things with Iron Man, you have the tech's available. Make a suit and give yourself super strength or something along those lines, and then use your teleport. Like, I don't get why Hawkeye, if Iron Man has 19...
Superman doesn't wear a suit.
Well, he doesn't need to. But I'm saying, like, if Iron Man has 19 suits... and Hawkeye, who's just a human with a bow, why not get, like, Spider-Man was the perfect example when he got the iron suit. That was badass. Like, if I'm living in a world with the Justice League, then I'm going to go find some tech, some LexCorp tech. I'm going to make myself a suit, and I'm going to have teleportation.
No, you're not smart enough because you just have teleportation. You're a simpleton.
I'd become a Lex Luthor lackey. Well, the other reason I would say the Justice League is I would assume there's a difference between walking in a room and standing next to Captain America and then Iron Man, and then walking into a room and standing next to fucking Superman and Batman. I mean, you're...
Yeah, one's a rich playboy billionaire philanthropist.
No, I mean, in terms of like adrenaline rush, like
Superman sucks.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're a fucking bitch and you hate Superman. He's hashtag anti-Superman, so boo this man. But we both agree. Oh no, you're going Avengers.
I'll go Avengers.
Okay, but what do you think your super strength would be? What if it's only like less than the Thing?
For strength?
Yeah.
Then I would fuck up your everyday robber. Take it out on the little guy.
So you're hanging out with like the Marvel Knights?
Because I'm passing the savings on to you?
No, dude, I'm doing jumper and I'm everywhere.
What if you can only teleport 10 feet?
Well, then I'm going Avengers. I'm going super strength. Last question comes from Divine Anchor, and they ask, with next gen almost here, what is the one thing or game you're looking to most with these new consoles? Game, I think it's kind of hard to put your finger down on it or your thumb down on it.
Right.
I think console wise, no loads, and instant like the SSD, like playing one game, pause, go to the next game, instant boot up. That's where I'm just like, dude, I'm done with this shit.
That's mine too. I'm so tired of like waiting on, and that's the thing is like I can take the small ones, whatever, but when you have games like Avengers where you're waiting fucking 15 minutes for something to load, granted that's just that game, that really just wore and tore on me. That every other game afterwards, if the loading screen's longer than like 2 minutes, I'm like, dude, get the fuck on, man.
Is it weird that we're this close to it being a thing of the past? Like,
I hope that's what it is.
So, in terms of games, is there anything you're looking forward to?
Yeah, that Starfield exclusive.
In 2023?
Elder Scrolls 6
2024?
Exclusive. Now, no big games I'm looking forward to, but I'm mostly just in next gen. Like, even if there was no new games and they're like, here's the console, it's just going to play whatever games play on your Xbox One now, it's just going to run them better, and there's no load times, I would still buy the console based on that alone.
Yeah, so leave us your answer down below because, I mean, there's a lot to expect. I think games is kind of the harder one to predict, especially...
Ask me that next year.
Yeah, especially when everything keeps getting pushed back. You know, do I want to look forward to a game that's next year that's not going to be in 2 years? So... kind of hard to juggle. As far as the console goes that we're going to get in 6 weeks, I'm looking forward to no load times and quick boot times. So,
and do let us know out there too if you guys were actually able to snag a pre-order, if you ran into problems. I'd like to hear the stories.
Hear all that. So quick reminder, I don't want to touch too much on it. We do have a contest coming up, guys, so make sure you sit still and stay ready because Andrew and I do plan on getting the winner of the next contest a digital version of their choice console, but we'll do more of that later. So it's not, I don't want to overhype it and underdeliver.
Yeah.
So it's coming and
just gotta work out the dates.
We're gonna iron that out. So guys,
Iron Man it out. So
make sure you guys follow us on Facebook at LastCall928, LastCall Productions. Follow us on Instagram at LastCall Productions. Follow us on Twitter at LastCall PRODZ. If you guys want to listen to the audio-only version of this podcast, follow it at LastCall Gaming on Spotify, on iTunes, and on CastBox, and whatever other version of podcast you enjoy. Send us questions, guys. Keep them coming at the YouTube comments down below or at lastcallproductions@gmail.com. Anything else, Andrew, you want to add to this hefty Xbox episode?
Nope, I'm all set.
So, guys, until next time, my name is Craig Perales, and that is Mandrew Montemayor. Cheers.
It's a problem-free
philosophy.
Hakuna Matata. Timon and Pumbaa.
Craig and Mandrew.
Oh, we should have a cool theme song like that.
We should. A Craigan, a Mandrew, a Craigan, a Mandrew, a Craigan, a Mandrew. It means no worries.
You think we can get
for the rest of your games.
Haley Joel Osment to sing it?
Haley Joel? He doesn't sing it.
Matthew Broderick?
No, he doesn't sing it either. It's a.
I know who the guy is. I seen the thing where he gets the residuals.
Paid fat forever, and his like.
He thought he got burned on the start, but he got it on the back end. Yeah.
Yeah, until they started. Dude, that guy made money. I don't know if it was his mom or his grandma was like, "You, like, don't take the upfront, take the back end."
Yeah.
And that's just the song. He wasn't even fucking. Yeah, he wasn't. It wasn't Haley Joel, JDT, or or Matthew Broderick, and dude, he gets paid for the rest of his life now.
Dude, imagine getting
fat
that,
royalties.
Imagine getting that residual.
And dude, he was probably praying to the heavens when they remade Lion King and used the goddamn song. I was like, Jesus.
He probably sang that song and then on the way home had to buy like fucking cat food for his dinner.
He's just the guy. It means no worries. I was like, damn, that's money. I'm wondering if there's any. Well, I'm sure there is, but I wonder who would be the ones that like made other deals like that. Like how many guys took upfront royalty or upfront paychecks instead of back end? Because who the fuck knew back in the '90s that long end game, the long term was going to be.
Who does Forrest Gump? Is it Robert Zemeckis, director?
I don't know.
Well, don't look it up.
I feel like I should. It's too late. It's too late.
I read a thing earlier that the studio didn't think Forrest Gump was going to make that much money. So for some of the extra scenes, him and
Robert Zemeckis, yeah,
him and Tom Hanks put in some of their own money to film the extra scenes in returns for more profit on the movie after it grosses whatever. And so they ended up making a shit ton more money. Like I think Tom Hanks made like $65 million from that movie.
Dude, that's where it's at.
Versus whatever they would paid him just to do it originally.
Well, it's almost one of those stupid ass things. You saw Toys That Made Us, like when George Lucas took like almost nothing up front on his paycheck, but he's like, I want almost like it was like 90. So it was something stupid, something that will never be done again. I'm going to use a number like 96% for all the toys and shit like that,
right.
And then a percentage on royalties. Cleaned house, dude. It was just like, jeez Louise. It's all about knowing how to negotiate your contract, and I think a lot of those guys, especially Lucas in '77, and then Forrest Gump in '94, like who the fuck knew were these? Because I guess what messes up a lot of people, or at least terminology, is nobody saw streaming coming. So no one saw that there was gonna be like, oh, when they buy it and they stream it on Netflix forever, and you don't have that in your clause that you were gonna be making back end royalties on it, you're fucked. Where if you had that sense, or at least terminology that covers things like that, you're getting paid forever. And dude, that's what it's all about, a hefty check.
Dude, I would love to come up with something that doesn't make me as much money now, but just give me that residual month after month after month after
retirement
month,
money, bro. Something that gets you a fat check, 65 plus.
Yeah,
we'll come up with it.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure LastCall will get us there.